DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are joined by the radio voice of the Utah Jazz, David Locke. David, good morning.
The world is back in order. The two of you are together. My Friday mornings are perfect. An inspiration for all the blue sky is out. The greatness of DJ and PK in the morning. What else could you ask for? A gift that keeps on giving for 20-plus years in Utah, every single morning, there for you, like the comfort of a great pillow, like, I don't know. I don't know what else. I'm done. I ran out.
It happens.
We did something today that...
Once I had the vision of being in bed and you involved, it was over.
Mercifully.
That fear went right through my body, top to bottom. What a day in sports already. Tragedy, exaltation, unbelievable performances. Maybe one of the saddest, worst scenarios if it comes out to be true possible. What a morning already, and it's 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, man.
Djokovic upsetting Skinner?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yep. And now he's playing for his 25th Grand Slam title.
Lindsey
25. Lindsey Vonn crashing in a pre-Olympic
airlifted
run.
out on a race that they canceled after 5 races because it was unsafe, and this could ruin one of the greatest comebacks in the history of sport.
And she was airlifted from the course for medical checks.
And they canceled the race after 3 of the first 5 racers ended up in the D netting, and it was unsafe. Man, would I be bitter if I was her. This
Yeah, right.
is bad.
Could have stopped that 3 to 5 skiers earlier. That would have been good.
Right. Oh, my gosh. So,
Alcaraz
huge
survived.
morning already.
Yes. David, we did something that you would have gotten mad at us when you were a program director, but now that you're doing podcasts, you do it every week. We solicited questions from the audience.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten mad at you if you'd done that, as long as you took the good questions and actually had good topics.
I think there's multiple good questions in here. I think the fans really brought it. So here's one for you.
Here's what I would have gotten mad at. And let's tell the truth, because this is what I would have done. People will think this is a good story. Is that when talk show hosts, and I was a program director, used to go on the air, Barry Hancock, can't remember anybody else who would ever have done anything like this, and say, quote, all right, phone lines are open next. You choose the topics. I would walk in during commercial breaks and say, if they're choosing the beef and topics, I can hire them to do the beef and show.
Nice.
Is this true?
Yes, that is true. That would be your attitude.
Okay. Anyway, that's what I didn't like. So just to be fair.
Michael says, will there be a point this year the Jazz make Ace Bailey the focal point of the offense, or are they better off just letting him blend in for now?
So we talked about this on Postcast with Ron Boone after the game. Ron looked at me like I was crazy. I think there will be 20 games this year in which Ace Bailey is the focal point of the offense. I think it'll be the final 10 of the season and 10 of the 20 prior to that.
How will they pick the 10? I get why the last 10, they're sitting a bunch of people. I think we all get that. These 10 prior, how will they pick that?
No idea.
Okay.
I just think it'll happen. Organically, shall we say.
Okay.
How will it look then? What would it look like?
I mean, I think there'll be nights where he goes 4 of 19, and I think there'll be nights where he kind of puts it together a little bit. I think he'll force up a bunch of bad, ugly shots. Hopefully there'll be a few nights where he takes 6 free throws because he's currently allergic to the free throw line. So I think it'll have all sorts of – I mean, I really thought, to his credit, he's so dramatically different than what we thought he was going to be from watching his Rutgers film. But then, I kept saying it during that time period, like he was playing with Jerry from Staten Island. So, maybe there was a reason he shot every single time. And now that he's playing with really good players, he's assimilated in beautifully. I think that's maybe the most impressive thing he's done this year. And his instinctual passing and plays are really, really wildly impressive. So I think in that sense, I think he'll have to revert back a little bit on the nights where Keontae and Lowry aren't on the floor and take 22 shots. And a lot of them are going to be, he gets the ball on the right side and he's his handle and his strength is not enough yet that he can bully someone to the rim, so he ends up kind of pivoting, fading back, and he's got this incredible length, so he can get any shot up anytime he wants, but some are going to be really bad, ugly shots, and there's going to be nights where he goes 4 of 19, and there's probably going to be some nights where he gets on a heater.
It certainly looks like he's more comfortable firing it up now. Would you agree with that? No, it doesn't seem a level of tentativeness.
I thought Will Hardy just said it well. He's learning the different ways to get his shots. Like he's really figured out the mid-range, right? He's got that almost Jeff Malone-esque leap and leaner, and he really looks – he's very comfortable in that. Like you can tell when he shoots that, he thinks it's going in, and that's his comfort zone. What I like is he's taking that, but at the same time, he's still taking 7 or 8 threes a game. Like, you can't just become a mid-range maven. And so, but the best players have to have some mid-range because they have to be able to score at 3 levels. And he's, other than on back cuts and fast breaks, he's not scoring at the rim out of the half court off his own creation. So he's got to have the 2 other levels. But what I do think is he's finding where the shots come from in the NBA. And so he's just getting a lot more off, which is terrific. And it's really good that he's getting 7 or 8 or 9 threes off a game. That's really hard to do, and that's a big talent. And there aren't that many guys in the league that can get that many off a night. And if you can start shooting 38, 40% from 3 and get 7, 8, or 9 off, like you're on your way to like NBA scoring titles. You're on like I'm bullish. I keep talking about Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady won NBA scoring titles. Like I think that's who he reminds me of. I think he's great.
Bruce wants to know how long it will be before the Jazz can be a playoff team.
Honestly, I think this dictates a little bit on what happens with the Warriors and Clippers. The Warriors and Clippers are both in pretty desperate situations here pretty quickly, and the Warriors pull out the Giannis trade the next week, then they're not nearly desperate, and then they're one of the 6 playoff teams, and the Clippers in 2 years have nobody on their books, and if they're able to sign a free agent like Giannis or whoever the next Anthony Edwards or whoever the next one is that becomes available, and they jet up there, then they're one of the 6. And you already know that Oklahoma City's in that 6, and you already know that San Antonio's in that 6 with Victor and Shea. And Denver's going to be there for a while with Jokic, and then if the Clippers are there, and you know the Lakers are probably going to be there with Doncic, then it's going to be really hard. Minnesota's got a little bit of time left with Anthony Edwards if he stays, but Gobert's 33 and Randall's 31. And so they're going to fade off. And Houston's got – I don't love the Amon Thompson, Alfred Sengun model as my future stars on that team. So I think that one's going to be in flux for a little while, but that they have a lot of pieces figured out. So, you know, in a sense, I think we'll be like a play-in team next year, but I also think it's going to be a really, really hard, rocky road. And to some extent, it determines what happens to the major market teams of whether the Warriors and Clippers have to go through a rebuild or whether the Warriors and Clippers are able to reload immediately. They reload immediately. That what the West is. It's going to be really hard to even make the playoffs.
Can they swing a deal in the manner of what Phoenix did? Because Phoenix last year was all sorts of negative. Everything coming out of there didn't seem possible that they would be able to be a playoff contending team. And they make a trade with Durant and get Brooks and all that stuff. And away they go, and now I think they're like 8, 9, 10 games over 500. They're one of the success stories of the season, and basically it was about getting rid of some dead weight in terms of Bradley Beal and making the trade with Houston for Durant and bringing over Brooks, and look at them go. I mean, it's amazing to me how they've been doing as well as they can, and it seems to me that the Jazz, from where Phoenix was last year, before they made the moves, the Jazz are in a better spot to be better than Phoenix. And so with a move or two that they can really make a difference. Do you see that scenario? Is that legitimate?
I guess so. When Walker comes back, he actually becomes decent defensively. They're using Mark Williams and others.
Right. I mean, he will come back.
Grayson Allen's just a better player than anyone ever realized. But they're doing a good job. I mean, they culturally had a problem there last year, obviously, with Durant, Budenholzer, and a lot of things going on there that was just kind of a disaster. Sure, I think we could make them run into a play-in team like Phoenix is pretty quickly. You have to get better defensively. That should happen. And then I don't know where Phoenix goes from here, to be honest. But
Well, yeah,
But
well,
I think
I'm not, but who cares, really? I mean, it's about the Jazz.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's part of the. Yeah, I think. Yes, I do think the Jazz could make that kind of run. Phoenix is really surprising. There's no, and Devin Booker. Yeah, I mean they made this trade where they got Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green and somebody else who I can't think of right now. Jalen Green's barely played.
Yeah,
So really, they
hurt.
just got Dylan. It's not like my first instinct was to look at Phoenix and say, what we're really learning here is another one of these trades where it used to be whoever traded the best player got the best player won. Now in this NBA, it's looking like whoever gets the most minutes wins. But that's not the case on this trade because Jalen Green just hasn't played a lot.
Right.
So, I mean, honestly, this trade's a huge indictment of Kevin Durant. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
As much as we all get tired of quotes using the word culture over and over because it's way easier to say than do, it does go to the point that you'd better do the culture right. And the teams that win, largely, there are exceptions, but largely get the culture right. And teams that lose, you hear, cancer in the locker room, nobody likes each other. To update the old quote, 15 guys, 15 Ubers. I mean, you bust, so it doesn't really fit, but we all know that from an old baseball quote. And it tells you what the locker room is like. And basketball is like, if you're not together, then the ball doesn't move, right? If the team isn't really together. And once you start playing one-on-one, you're way easier to defend, and it usually shows up on the scoreboard pretty quickly. And
right, it can be. It also can be like 15 guys, one cap. But they're back. But it's bad, right?
plausible.
Yeah, like I think that might have been where Phoenix was last year. It might have been unifiedly bad, like culturally. We got rid of Bradley Beal and got rid of Kevin Durant. Frank Vogel turned the team over to Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant hated it. Then Mike Budenholzer came in, turned the team over to Kevin Durant. Devin Booker hated it. Bradley Beal, I don't know, obviously whatever impact that is. So I mean, that just was a mess. And then I think there was a lot of ownership involvement, to the level of telling coaches who should play and who shouldn't. They just. Matt Ishbia may have learned from his mistakes too. I don't know all the facts. I don't know all the things going on to make it right. I do know a lot of them happen to make it wrong.
Yeah, gotcha. You look at this draft and the impact. I'm speaking of the most recent draft that it's had. I mean, you just look at the game between the Mavericks and the Hornets, right? And Flagg goes for 49, and Con Knipple, who was a little bit of a surprise at the fourth pick. He's just had a fabulous rookie season, and combined with the other picks that they've had, it seems like all of a sudden Charlotte's outlook looks a lot better. Edgecombe goes to Philly. Now he has the opportunity to play a lot, or at least be an option, not just play, but literally be an option, because Embiid and George are not Iron Men, and it seems like when they don't play, that's the norm, and when they do play, it's a surprise. So you got to have the opportunity. And where I'm going with this is, if the Jazz can get a top 3 to 4 pick this year, do you think that kid could have the type of impact that we're seeing? Now, maybe he doesn't have the opportunity that these other guys have, but I'm talking about impact in a manner to help the team get to. Lacombe has talked about winning 45 games. It seems that these kids coming in at the top are more ready to play a little earlier. And so with that in mind, if it happens, which I think it's a must, if it does happen, it's great news for the team. That can really help the team in terms of making that addition that we're looking for, that you don't have to go out and acquire somebody. You can use that rookie, plug him in, to get a higher level of production than maybe some of the other rookies, and that helps the team be more competitive next season.
Yes. So this draft class, is trending toward being the best draft class of 86, which is the greatest draft class of all time. I think I have my year right. I think that draft class had 9 all-star, all-NBA players. in that draft, and I think we're going to end up with 6 or 7 out of this draft. And then everyone thinks this next draft is better. So, yes, if you have a top 4 pick in this draft, which is the big 3, then probably the kid at North Carolina, Caleb Wilson, is the 4th.
Yeah.
I think they step right in and play and contribute. And, what's interesting is that rookies usually don't help winning at all. These kids seem to be doing a better job of helping winning than we've seen in years past. No, this draft class is incredible. Conn Kniffel is just an amazingly good basketball player. I fully missed on my analysis of him. I watched the games where he played without Cooper Flagg, and he was turnover prone, and he had a hard time with his handle, and I just thought he was playing with so many NBA players on the collegiate level, and I missed it. I did not see this level of play, and then even a little bit of self-creation now, and then even if you go back to when the Jazz played him early in the year, the 2 previous games were against, I think, Orlando and some other good defensive team. He was awful in those 2 games, and I thought he was really in trouble. And then Lee came in, and he was amazing, and then he's been amazing ever since. So he's a great story. He's probably, until kind of recently, I actually think he was Rookie of the Year. I think Cooper's probably going to earn that above him. But those 2 really quite something. And Duke obviously had a heck of a team last year.
David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, on the air tonight as the Jazz face the Brooklyn Nets. The 12-win Nets tip off at 7:30, pregame at 6:30. David, we will hear you then. Thanks for joining us.
Let me ask you one question.
Okay.
4 first-round draft picks, maybe 1 or 2 players, young players, but not players trending in the most amazing. So not Keontae.
Hendricks and Williams.
For Giannis for 1 year to prove to him that he wants to be in Salt Lake City, and you'd have his bird rights.
Number 1, I don't think he's coming. So I think this is all just an exercise for radio.
You're trading for him. I mean, to some extent, he kind of has to come, right?
It's like I
Got
said.
a year left on his deal.
He would come for half a season, then he'd be gone.
You don't know that.
I don't know that. He asked me what I thought, so I'm telling you what I think.
Yeah, but you make it sound like you say I would think he'd be gone, not he'll be gone.
I mean,
you say things
been
definitively on the air. Have an opinion. I have an opinion now. You criticize me. I constantly attack. It's the personal attacks that make him obnoxious.
PK, you're always preaching that we're not this, that we need to get out of our. I've heard you, PK, about Utah, and we're not this, and we're not.
I'm
with you. Should we go get Giannis for a year, show it to him, and see if he'll stay?
I think it should be seriously considered. Yes.
31-year-old with a calf strain, working on an Achilles, 1-9 in his last 10 playoff games. No.
Does he make the team better?
Oh, yes.
Well, then why not?
Because they're talking about opening a championship window.
He'll help you get there.
I think you're going to drive into the cul-de-sac and have to back out. Like they did last time. Like they did last time. What about you, David?
I would consider it.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I would probably rather give up some picks to facilitate the deal if I could get someone from New York for picks that allows New York to have enough picks to get Giannis.
Got your eye on any player in particular?
OG Anunoby.
Okay. All right, David, we are late to break. We got guests coming up. We got to go. Thank you. Good to talk to you.
That I would have gotten mad at you for.
Okay. Thanks, David. DJ PK at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jared Calhoun, Utah State men's basketball coach, joins us at 9 o'clock. Pablo Mastroeni, RSL head coach, at 9:30 from Portugal. They're adding players. The Aggies are getting ready to host the Aztecs, the first-place team and the second-place team, getting together tomorrow, 11 a.m. on CBS. That's next. Stay with us.